Good afternoon friends. Today we will see the next point of our chapter, that is the food constituents and its chemistry. So that point is the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, they forms the bulk of our diet. Means whatever the meal, dinner or breakfast we are taking. So out of 100, the carbohydrates we are consuming they are 50 to 60%. So these carbohydrates form the bulk of our diet. So how these carbohydrates they are produced? So these carbohydrates they are produced by a process. That process called it as photosynthesis, and this photosynthesis performed by the plants by using of the water, carbon dioxide in presence of sunlight. So these carbohydrates they are consumed in our diet for the purpose of gaining of the energy. First of all, see what is meant by the carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are nothing but they are the polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones which on hydrolysis gives single units of monosaccharides. Means carbohydrates consist of aldehyde group and hydroxyl group, that is the OH group and CHO groups. So there is the complex form. So when they are hydrolyzed by either acid or dry heats, they are converted into the simple form, and that simple form is called as monosaccharides. So what are the sources of carbohydrates in our diet? So main sources of carbohydrates in our diets are cereals. In that cereals, wheat, jawar, maize, rice, through which we get the major portion of carbohydrates in our diet. So out of 100%, 50 to 60% of our diet consists of the carbohydrates, and the remaining proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. Now next point we will see the what are the classification or what are the types of carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are basically classified into following class, that is the monosaccharide, disaccharide, oligosaccharide and polysaccharide. Monosaccharides are those sugar which cannot undergo the further hydrolysis. Mono means single, saccharide means sugar, the carbohydrates in which consist of only single sugar, that sugar we call it as monosaccharides. Examples are glucose, fructose, galactose. So glucose is the most abundant monosaccharide that is utilized in our body as well as in the nature. So glucose is the simplest form of our monosaccharide. Second is the fructose. Fructose is majorly present in the fruits, that's why it is called as fruit sugar. And next one is the galactose. Second classification is the disaccharide. Di means two, saccharide means sugar, the carbohydrates in which there is occurrence of two sugars, that sugar they are called as disaccharide. And examples are sucrose, maltose and lactose. So sucrose is nothing but it is called as table sugar, the sugar which we are consuming in our diet for the preparation of tea, coffee and other sweet products. That sugar we call it as sucrose or table sugar. So it is obtained from sugar cane or the sugar beet, that's why it also called as cane sugar or the beet sugar. Next is disaccharide is the lactose, that lactose sugar is present in the milk. Next disaccharide, that is the maltose. Third classification is the oligosaccharides. Oligosaccharides are those saccharides which consist of 2 to 10 units of monosaccharides, and examples are raffinose, stachyose, etc. Oligo means many, more than 2 units. The last classification is that is the polysaccharide. Poly means many, saccharide means sugar, the sugar which consists of more units of monosaccharide, that sugar we call it as polysaccharides. Examples are starch, dextrine, pectin, cellulose, hemicellulose, etc. Again these polysaccharides they are classified into two classes, homopolysaccharide and heteropolysaccharide. Homo means the sugar present in that polysaccharide is having the same unit, that is glucose or galactose. Heteropolysaccharide means are those polysaccharides which consist of different units of sugar, that is the glucose, fructose, glucose, galactose, etc. Now in the polysaccharides, first example you will see the starch. Starch is the most abundant polysaccharide present in the nature. So it is present in the majorly in the plant. So when the starch they are consumed, that starch present in the cereal grains, wheat, they also may present in the potato or tuber crops. When they are consumed, they are broken down into the simple forms. Next polysaccharide is the cellulose. Next is the pectin and the dextrine. So dextrines they are also polysaccharides. They are prepared or they are formed after the hydrolysis of the starch. So these are the examples of the polysaccharides. Now next point we will see what are the functions of the carbohydrates. We are well known that carbohydrates, they are consumed for the purpose of the energy. So main first function of the carbohydrate is that it forms the bulk of our diet. Bulk means the majority portion of our diet consists of the carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, they are mainly consumed for the energy, that is the production of ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So these ATPs, they are produced by the breakdown of the glucose in the respiration cycle. So glucose is converted into the different form, glucose 6-phosphate, and ultimately ATPs, they are produced. So that is the main function, that is the production of energy. Second one is the carbohydrates form the bulk of our diet. Third function is that they provide the flavor and sweetener. So how the carbohydrates provide the flavor and sweetener? We are well known that sucrose is the most commonly used sweetener in our daily foods, so which imparts the sweetness to the food. That's why carbohydrates impart the sweetness. Now flavor. When we heat the sugar, it produces the caramels after the heating, partial heating. So this caramel flavor is majorly used in the ice cream and the bakery industry. That's why carbohydrates, another function is they perform as a flavor as well as sweetener. From 1 gram of carbohydrates, we are getting the 4 kilocalories per gram. Next function is the carbohydrates can also perform as a dietary fibers. Dietary fibers, the fibers or the food constituents which are essential for our stomach, or what you call it as also gut. In that they are not digested in our stomach, but they are helpful for the digestion and useful for removing of waste materials from our body. That's why they are essential in our body. They enhance the gut movement and reduces all the wastage from our body. Next is the breakdown of the sparring action of the proteins. When there is unavailability of the carbohydrates in our diet, so protein can also perform as an energy source in our diet. Then carbohydrates can also perform as a energy storage. Energy storage means if there is more quantity of glucose in our diet, so that glucose can be stored into that portion or constituent called it as glycogens. Glycogen means sugar, or there is storage. So this glycogen is stored in the liver, and when there is scarcity of glucose in our diet, or when there is more exercise, or when there is more activity of our body, so that glycogen is again broken down into glucose, and that glucose is used for the production of the ATPs. Next function is the carbohydrate also perform the different activities like providing the sweetness, flavor, bulk diet, etc. So all these are the functions of carbohydrates in our diets. So we have seen the definition of carbohydrates, classification of carbohydrates, functions of carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, they can be performed different sources, cereals, pulses, legumes, oilseed also performing some carbohydrates in our diet. So these carbohydrates form the bulk of our diet. Thank you.